Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod. I'm your host, Zach Jackson, here with my boy, Maurice Jenkins. Appreciate you coming on, Maurice. I really do.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
All right, so it's Recap Monday, guys. So let's get right to it. First up, we are going to be going over some NBA. NBA talk is going to be what the YouTube show on the Fire Sports Pod is today with Maurice. First up, just what a weekend it was in the NBA. It was a fantastic weekend, starting off with Friday basketball. Starting off, actually, it was a great week of basketball, I should say.
Yeah,
You had the Lakers get the a monster upset at TD Garden. Who would have thought? Without Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they go in there with Austin Reeves and they win. Now, that could have been a fluke, and a lot of people thought that was going to be a fluke. And then we go into Saturday, and then we upset your Knicks in Madison Square Garden. And we're on a 2-game win streak against two of the best teams in the East, so it's not bad. Now, if we're playing the Hornets right now, and I believe we're up by like 12 right now. If we lose that game, then that was just a fluke of 2 games. But if we keep consistently winning, we might be fine. But for that case, we're going to be talking about some NBA trade deadline. We're going to be talking about some NBA standings between just
the East and West.
the East and Western Conference. So first up, I'm just going to share the screen. Maurice, just introduce yourself, what you do, where you at right now, and all the case.
Yeah, so my name's Maurice. I go to Montclair State. A sports com major. I'm a senior, and I'm a big Knicks fan. Big Knicks fan. Always watching basketball. Big basketball fan. I also work basketball games on the side. So I'm really invested into basketball. That's sort of my thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. So guys, he's really good in what he does. He does a lot of camera work as well. So he's going places. He's going places. So if you see Maurice Jenkins on like ESPN and some shit, he's gonna be there soon. But keep doing your thing, man. I appreciate you coming on. So let's get right to it. So first up, now you're East. I'm gonna let you go into this. What are your thoughts on the Eastern Conference? Of course, I mean you have the three teams at the bottom, which are the Hornets, the Wizards, and Pistons. Let's just not even talk about them. They're absolutely ass. So from like the 12th seed with the Raptors, which can be any team, the Raptors do play well in some games, but then some games they just play terrible. So from the Raptors all the way up to the 1 seed in the Celtics, what are your thoughts on the East? And then I'll make my opinion after yours.
So the Raptors, they've been playing great ever since the trade. I think the trade worked out for both teams with the Knicks and the Raptors. Scotty Barnes, he is the guy now in Toronto, and you have Emmanuel Quickly, who's finally able to start. And I think it's not just his performance, because his performance is consistent all throughout, even coming off the bench for the Knicks. But now his confidence is there. And I think he's going to mature into that starting point guard role, and he just has to prove that he can play defense and facilitate while always having that offensive firepower he brings every day. And RJ Barrett is so consistent now, it's unbelievable. And it's because he's not trying to fill shoes that he just can't fill in New York. Like, we all expected him to be a big three in New York, but that's not what it was ever going to be, especially because Brunson and Randall take most of the shots in New York. And like RJ was kind of deferred to like a spot up role, and that's not his game. He
Hmm.
just needs to go out there and have, the ball in his hands. And that's what's happening in Toronto. So they're doing great. We'll see. We'll see how their season ends. We'll see if they trade Bruce Brown or not. I'm anticipating they will, but knowing Toronto, they're really stubborn when it comes to this type of things. Fred Van Vliet walked for nothing. Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby should have got traded last year. So we'll see what Toronto does. The Nets, the Nets are also a very stubborn franchise. They don't know what they want to do. They have a bunch of obscure talent, and that's exactly what that team is: obscure talent, a team full of role players. I think Cam Thomas you should keep. I think Mikal Bridges should get traded. Cam Johnson should get traded. Nick Claxton, I say test the market for him, see what you can get. Um, I think they will make a move. I think they'll make maybe one or two moves at the deadline. And then you have Ben Simmons, whose contract is holding that team hostage. He's making more money than he deserves. And, to his credit, like, Injuries are a thing. I'm not sure if his body's built for the NBA, but
It doesn't look like it is.
it isn't. I don't think it is. And players are like that. Lonzo Ball, Ben Simmons. It happens.
Yeah,
Um,
but Lonzo's different. I got to stop you there. Lonzo is totally different. I think he's the better baller out of all three of them. I think even though LaMelo's shining great, but LaMelo's also dealing with injuries as well. I just think that Lonzo just had a bad injury that just got worse over time because the doctors weren't doing the correct thing. And I just did see today that he was finally working out on the court,
yeah,
doing some good moves. He
he was
looked being able to move like he was doing behind the back, between the legs, crossover shot. So he's doing some good moves out there and standstill type moves. So I do believe that once he does come back, he's going to be back to where he was before. His jump shot looks even better now than when he left. So it looks like he's been reassuring his game, but he left and he was shooting almost about 40 something percent from three. And his passing is remarkable. His athleticism is great as well. So I mean, I do have to stop you on that one. I think comparing Ben Simmons and Lonzo injury wise, yes, but like playing wise, I think Lonzo will be coming back and will be back to the way he was. Ben Simmons, he did have a good night, a couple like a last during this
yeah,
past week.
almost had a triple double.
Almost had triple double, only 17 minutes played, 10 points, 5 of 5 from the field. So that's a promising moment. He dunked the ball a couple times, had good shots. So, and his passing skills are unbelievable. It's just if he could just stay on the floor.
And defense.
And his defense is great. So I think that's a great comparison. I just think Lonzo will make a difference when he gets back. Ben Simmons, I don't know, man. He's like hit or miss right now.
But the Nets, they need to do something because they can't just sit on all their assets. Me personally as a Knicks fan, I would love to see Mikal Bridges um on the Knicks, but the Nets,
Oh, you pairing that with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. Big
yeah,
big three from UConn, bro.
and
Not not
DiVincenzo,
not UConn. Villanova. Yeah,
Villanova,
and DiVincenzo. That would
yeah.
be something.
But the Nets hate doing business with the Knicks. They haven't made a trade in over 50 years. They just hate the Knicks, so doubt that ever happened.
Yeah, he's gonna have to go to another team, just like Bruce Brown did, and then get traded to this team.
They've denied like three different trades from Mikal. All three of them like great packages. Definitely, you will get their worth back, but they're really stubborn. The Nets are really stubborn. That's why they'll lose. I think they're cautious after the whole KD, Kyrie, Harden things didn't work. They're very cautious, try not to make any, you know, hasty decisions. But like you have
Yeah,
assets that do not work. So you need to do something instead of just sitting on them. But we'll see.
yeah,
The
we will
Hawks,
see.
the Hawks, DeJounte Murray, everyone's talking about him. It's really hard to get the value of DeJounte because I think DeJounte Murray's a good player. I think he can still be that all-star caliber player, but his value took a dip when he went to Atlanta. And it's because
Definitely, most definitely.
you tried to pair 2 point guards together to make this weird backcourt that was never gonna work. Um,
Because he's not a spot up shooter. He
he's
never
not.
was.
He needs the ball in his hands. That's how
Yeah.
he was in San
If you want to
Antonio.
switch it, like Trey Young be the spot up shooter, that makes a little bit more sense. But he's not going to do that because
But
he
Trey
loves the
Young needs
ball.
the ball in his hands too, and that's not gonna happen. They can't play Trey off ball because his ego is too big for that. So and like the teams that's asking for him,
The Lakers.
the Lakers, like D'Lo and DeJounte, there's not a big difference because
I
when
just think,
D'Lo's
I think defensively there's a big difference though.
yeah, true, but
But
the
I would
Lakers
rather take offense with D'Lo, spot up shooter can drop almost 40. Then DeJounte Murray needs the ball in his hands, can't really play offensive, just spot up shooter the way LeBron wants you to be able to do it. I mean, LeBron can kick out the D'Lo and shoot the ball, and it's going in. DeJounte, he might pump fake, go to the rim, get blocked, or whatever the case, make a stupid decision. So I don't know. I would probably agree with you. I wanted DeJounte in the beginning, but now I'm like looking at it. I've just seen a couple games with the Hawks. It's like It's
It's
not
not a
really
big
big of a
difference. It's
difference.
not a big difference because when D'Lo, as soon as that trade thing was happening, that's when he started playing good because he knew he was on his way out. D'Lo. He's not mentally trained to play consistently. Most players aren't in the NBA if you actually think about it. The
Yeah,
ones that who are the all stars. And D'Lo, the reason he was able to be an all star because he was the guy on the Nets. He was gonna play good every night because he's the guy. On the Lakers, he
yeah.
doesn't need to be the guy, so he's not going to be as consistent unless
Speak
you
of
keep
that.
losing
Speak
him.
of that right now, bro. We're at halftime right now over the Hornets. I know it's the Hornets,
Yeah,
74-58. We're
74,
winning.
58.
Davis has 12 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 6 of 8 from the field, and a poster. LeBron James has 17 points, 4 assists, 8 of 12, and he also has a poster as well over somebody else, Nick Richards. And D'Lo has finished within the first half with 22 fucking points, dude. 22 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 of 14 from the field, 3 of
I'm,
7 from 3.
I'm telling you, you give a player something to play worth, they're going to
That,
start playing good.
yeah.
He knows he was on his way out, so he was like, and that's why the Lakers didn't pull the trigger on the DeJounte Murray trade because they saw the way D'Lo was playing. Now, me personally, I think long term you should do it, but I'm not sure if it's worth it. But we go to the next team, the Bulls. The Bulls, like they need to sell. They need to sell. That's what they need to do is trade deadline. DeRozan needs to go somewhere else. Levine needs to go somewhere else. He's hurt for the rest of the season, but you can still trade him. A lot of teams probably won't do that trade. The Pistons, they backed out after he got hurt, understandably, but you can't keep both of them. If you want to keep Levine longer, sure. DeRozan, you need to get the value for him now because he's gonna walk in the offseason next year. So
Yeah.
get the value now. Um, but that's the Bulls. The Heat,
But
they
Zach,
made him,
wait, but hold on. But Zach LaVine just is out for the season now.
he's out for the season,
So
which is
I don't
gonna be
know.
hard to move him.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of people were wanting to be moved, especially my Lakers wanted him, but I don't really want him that much now. Um, Unless it's paired with an Alex Caruso. I would love to have Alex Caruso back.
Now Caruso,
I would rather spend the money to get his ass here than big Zach LaVine really doesn't play defense. He's averaging his lowest points he's ever averaged in his career with 20 points a game. He's playing terrible defense and he's very inconsistent this year and he's injuring. He's being injury prone so far. So, and now he's out for the season. I don't expect us to even go after him if he's not going to be able to get us to a champion, like at least help us to win a championship this year. So, I don't know where the Lakers are going, but we'll talk about that more in the West. But go ahead with the Heat.
the Heat, they made their big move. Um, they don't have anything left to give, unless they want to move Hero, which they're not gonna do.
Mm-mm.
Um, I don't know. The Heat, like we have to keep an eye on the Heat. I don't see them repeating what they did last year. They just don't have it in them this year. I don't see them as a threat in the East. I think they're going to be a tough first round matchup for any of those top teams. If I was any team in the East, I'm not trying to play the Heat in the first round because you never know what can happen, especially with Jimmy Butler. Um,
Look at last year. They beat Milwaukee. Who would have thought that?
exactly, but I don't see that happening again. They're ceiling second round. I wouldn't be surprised if they knocked off a Boston or a Milwaukee or a Knicks or Philly, but I don't see them getting to the finals or the conference finals again. Second round exit.
And
Um,
to be honest, for him, that's actually not bad. For them, that's actually not bad. Assuming just what they've like, assuming that they're not the way they are. Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they're not as dominant as they used to be in other years with like LeBron and everything. But at the same time, it's like you really don't know with them. I would probably, like I said, agree with you with the Heat. Like you never know. But I'm gonna say that they have a chance. No, every team has a chance to get there. But I think, like you said, people better watch out because the Heat can pull off the upset. in the first round.
For sure. Like I think, especially with Terry Rozier, like you add offense and your defense was already good, but they just don't have enough. They lost Gabe Vincent for nothing. They lost Max Strus. No, not Max Strus.
Yes, Max
Yeah,
Strus.
Max Strus
Yeah, he
for
went to
nothing.
Cleveland.
They just lost guys who just made an impact on your team. Um, so we'll see with them. The Magic are playing really good. Bencaro is really coming to himself. Um, his supporting cast has been playing really good. Only problem with the Magic, they're inexperienced.
Yep.
They'll make the playoffs or the play-in, and we'll see what they do. But I think Bencaro leading the charge, they have the potential to win. Maybe like they'll scare a team in the first round. Like even if they play Cleveland. I mean, if they play Cleveland, okay, I can see that. I can see them beating Cleveland because Cleveland has a bunch of question marks around them.
Yep.
But I don't see them winning any more than 2 games in the first round. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Bucks Magic in the first round. That's what I'm
That
envisioning.
would be a nice matchup though.
That's what I'm envisioning. Not just because they're the 2 in the 7, but like I can just see the Magic playing the Bucks in the first round, and them winning 2 games. And I think that's the little scare the Bucks will probably need to say, let's hone in and really play hard this entire playoffs. So we'll see. The Pacers, this Siakam trade was a damn good trade.
Yes, it was.
That was a really good trade. It really helps their team. The same thing with the Magic; they're inexperienced. Tyrese Halliburton, he's good. I think he'll. I'm anticipating he'll shrink in the playoffs.
Really.
That's exactly what I'm anticipating. I don't think those assists are gonna make much of a difference because I think teams are gonna pressure him. I think those double teams, what assists he's not gonna average 10 assists in the playoffs. He just ain't.
Yeah.
Siakam, I think Siakam will actually probably be the leading scorer for them in the playoffs. And Miles Turner's gonna do what he does. He's gonna amplify his game, but I think Tyrese Halliburton's gonna shrink. I really anticipate that.
And that would be their downfall.
It will be. But they have a lot of potential. They're one of the best youngish teams in the league, and it's only up for them. It really
Yeah.
is up for them. Uh, Philly,
We kind of said Philly earlier before we jumped on. They're kind of an easy.
Philly, yeah. So Philly, Embiid, top 3 player in the league right now. It's hard to stop him, but that's what they have. They have Embiid. Maxi's good. I think Maxi actually will show up in the playoffs. He'll be phenomenal, but they just don't have enough.
If I'm being honest, Maurice, you
Yeah.
kind of look like Tyrese Maxey.
I've
No,
never heard
seriously,
of.
with the smile and everything, I've been like looking at a lot of Philadelphia games because they've been on television a couple times, and I'm
Mhm.
like, man, Maurice kind of looks like really looks similar to Tyrese Maxey.
I've
I don't
never
know,
got that
maybe
one.
it's just the hair and then it's just the face a little
It's
bit,
100% the
but
hair.
yeah, it's just it looks a little, and then from like a camera view. Right now, it kind of looks a little bit like Tyrese Maxey. I mean, that's a big compliment. You're getting complimented looking like an NBA player.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Anytime. But yeah, like you were saying, 76ers, I think Joel Embiid, his problem is he's great, but he's just health. That's the same thing with Anthony Davis. And this year, you're looking at him. Anthony Davis is playing phenomenal. He's only missed 3 games. And that just shows you Joel Embiid's already succeeded, and he almost has enough games where he's not going to be able to be even awarded the MVP or any of these type of stuff because he's missing games for injuries. And I was watching the game live, the Warriors 76ers, that injury, that was pretty severe. So I think the 76ers go as far as Joel Embiid goes. If Joel Embiid's hurt and inconsistent, they ain't going nowhere. That's my
I
take.
agree. I agree. They need a better supporting cast. Tobias Harris has been MIA. I mean, no, I wouldn't say that. He's been consistent, but he has not been elevating his game.
Yeah,
He's consistent.
like a
You know?
Pascal Siakam would do with the
Yeah,
Pacers.
like they chose him over Jimmy for a reason. They thought he would play better in the system.
That was one of the biggest mistakes ever.
That was a big mistake, and a lot of people anticipate him to play better. I mean, he was borderline an all-star on the Clippers, and everyone thought he was gonna, kind of like a Sabonis, get to that point and keep elevating your game, keep impacting
The
the off.
bonus is a dog, bro.
And Tobias Harris has not been one, and
No,
that's the problem. They need to move him. He just doesn't fit. You need a better. You need a third star with those guys. You need a third star.
Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. Who would you put there? Would you put like a DeJounte Murray? Nah, right?
I'd put Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram. Wow, you think the
I'd put
Pelicans would trade
Brandon
him?
Ingram.
That would be. Oh my God! Talk
I
about.
think you put Ingram with Maxey and Embiid, you have a scary team.
Oh my God! That's the big. That's a big. That's like That's like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, but you have a better center, and Klay Thompson can dribble and get to the rim with ease.
Yeah.
That's like having a Kevin Durant, but a little less skill. I believe Brandon Ingram, Kevin Durant, very similar. I just think
Yeah.
that Durant has a much better shot, can really get it off whenever he wants. But Brandon Ingram is the same way. He just doesn't have that. He doesn't have that mode that Kevin Durant has, where he'll erupt for like 60, 50. Like
Yeah.
he can, like Durant can average like 50 a game, bro, if he really wanted to, dude. But that's just not the way he wants to do it because he knows that that doesn't win basketball games.
Yeah, and it's hard to do that at his point in his career because
Oh yeah,
it's not because of age. They double team him every night.
exactly.
Like how the Lakers guarded Brunson. That's
Is
how
how
teams
people
guard KD
Durant.
every single night. You just don't notice it because he still gets his.
Yeah, he dropped
Brunson
30
struggled
and
that night. I mean, still, Brunson still went off a little bit.
Brunson dropped 36 and a 12, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
he still
crazy.
went off. But like
But in the
KD,
fourth quarter, he had 23 in the first half. In the second half, he only was held to 13 points, and I believe he was only held to like 5 points in the fourth quarter. So that was the big difference. But KD, man, he's different. He's a different breed.
yeah. But moving on to the Knicks.
Yeah.
The Knicks, I think the Knicks are in a great position right now. And I think the problem is they're in such a good position is why exactly they haven't made a second trade that everyone's anticipating them to make, right? They traded for Anunoby, which was a good trade. I admit when it first happened, I was like, what the hell is going on? Did we just trade RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly for OG Anunoby? But it is a great trade. It made sense. We were not going to pay quickly at the end of the season, and RJ just didn't fit our team. So I'm
Yeah.
not mad at the trade at all. It was a good trade. Good trade. But the problem is now we have Quentin Grimes, right? He's come off the bench. He's doing good. Quentin Grimes is playing good. He's playing to our expectations. Well, I wouldn't say that. We have higher expectations, but he's playing solid basketball. And then you have Evan Fournier's contract, which is going to expire at the end of the year. And we have to move that. But it's like we don't need to make a big decision to get DeJounte Murray because he's going to change the team, right? It could be positive and it could be negative. But why would you change something when we're won 9 straight?
Yeah.
That's not a sign of a team that needs to make a trade. I do think we don't have enough to win a championship, which is why I think Mikal Bridges would be perfect for this team because he fits the Knicks system.
Or
perfect.
even a Cam Johnson.
See, we need someone who can take the load off of Jalen Brunson and Randall when a team like the Lakers double team him. Like Randall wasn't playing cool. But if you have a game where they're double teaming Brunson and Randall isn't hitting, or vice versa, DiVincenzo's good. He's not that good. So we
He's
need
good, but he's not great. He's not a
Yeah.
Brunson. He's not a Randall. He's not a
we need a
Mikal
third
Bridges.
guy who can score, but we don't need him to drop 30. And that's the problem with DeJounte Murray. He's good, But if DeJounte Murray ain't putting up big numbers, that's exactly why people are like, should we trade? Like, that's exactly why Lakers fans are like, do we need to trade D'Lo for DeJounte? Because when DeJounte is not doing that, he's kind of a D'Lo. And someone like a D'Lo is not going to help us win a championship. If we traded for DeJounte Murray right now, I'm not saying, oh, the Knicks are going to win a championship. I think the Knicks can match up better with those teams. We match up better with the Celtics if it works out, but it doesn't put us over the hump. Mikal does, because Mikal fits our system better. But I don't know what the Knicks are going to do. People talking about LeBron James stuff.
Oh my god!
And please, LeBron's not
Don't start
leaving.
with me shit.
LeBron's not leaving LA, at least not this year. I don't think he wants to, first of all. Like, it's not even about what team is going to be, but like, he does not want to leave LA. If the Lakers were even middle of the pack in the West, LeBron would not be a unhappy camper right now. He has championship aspirations. He doesn't even need to win one. He just needs to be one of the top contending teams.
Yeah.
And they're unperforming so bad right now. And that's the problem with LeBron. And that's why people are saying trade him. LeBron does not want to leave LA for so many. His son goes to school there. Why would he want to leave that state? Like, LeBron's about to retire. His life needs to be based around after the league. Why would he move states at this stage in his career?
But they said that he wants to, if Bronny goes to it, let's say his projected pick is Atlanta. He said if he goes to Atlanta, LeBron will go with him.
See, that's different. That's when Bronny gets to the league, but Bronny's not there yet. And also, we don't even know what, I mean, obviously, it's hard to pass up LeBron James' son in the draft, especially if LeBron's coming with him. But, like, let's be honest here, Bronny's not playing like a first round pick.
No, he's not. But at the same time, there are a lot of people on their fucking Lakers squad right now where I would probably take Bronny's defense over them. Like, I mean, if you're not gonna get his offensive game yet, his offensive game hasn't clicked yet, but you can see the potential. But the defensive game, oh my god, dude, he on defense. I've watched a couple of USC games. His defensive prowess is ridiculous. So, but I understand. Like, I don't think he's a first round pick right now. He's got to show me a little bit more in order for me to say that. I think he's maybe a late second round or somewhat of an early second round.
He might even go undrafted.
He could go undrafted, but
that's the no risk, no high reward right there. If you sign Bronny undrafted, you don't got to waste a pick on him,
and then he can go to the Lakers.
Yeah, and that's what LeBron wants. Like,
I think that's what might happen because of what we're saying is like he's not as good right now. But I think that if he goes undrafted like Austin Reeves, he had a couple of them, but he was like, oh, why am I going to pass up playing with LeBron James, one of the greatest players to ever walk this planet, if not the greatest, and go to a shit-ass team where I will be the star, but I won't be able to learn and grow. Now with LeBron, I could do that. So, and that's what he did. And look what he is now. He's one of the best on the team. He's the third star, I would say. So, yeah. But yeah, the Knicks, man, yeah, they're doing well. I got to give them their props. I'm not a Knicks hater. You look at the stat: 32-18, 640 winning percentage, 6 games back from the first, 22-10 on conference, 18-6 at home, 14-12 away, 9-1 in the last 10. They lost against the Lakers on Saturday, won the game losing streak. Your problem is away. Away from home, you guys is pretty bad. So most of your games are away, but most of those games were against top opponents, and most of those games were earlier in the year without OG Anunoby. So ever since OJ, you guys are like on like a 10-1 span, something like that.
Yeah.
So then now move to the Cavs, and then just finish off, and then maybe we'll go. I'll go quick for the Western Conference because they're all the same team.
Yeah,
they're all it's funny. The West is very similar to everyone. So yeah, just hit it off with the Cavs, Bucks, and Celtics.
So the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell's been playing great lately. Um, Darius Garland's coming back. If he not, did he already come back?
Yeah, he already came back.
He came back.
Yeah.
Their problem is you got two guys to do the same thing. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland both need the ball in their hands, and they're both offensive minded guards. And it's really about which one you want. I say, you trade the other because I think Donovan Mitchell's walking in free agency next year too. I would not put all my eggs in one basket with him staying. You have to choose which one you want. And if I'm the Cavs, I'm choosing Darius Garland, and that's their problem. They have two guys do the same thing. And they also have a problem at the three. Their small forward role is challenged. They need to get a solid, even if it's a 3-and-D guy in there, and they need to get a solid starting lineup going.
Yeah, they got three guards in the first three. They got
Yeah,
Mitchell, they got Strus, and they got Garland. Garland, Saturday had 4 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 of 3 from field, 0 of 2 from three, 2 of 2 from the free throw line with 23 minutes his first game back. So, yeah, having Max Strus at the three, and having Donovan Mitchell at the one, or Donovan Mitchell at the two, Darius Garland at the one, and then have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Like,
I think a guy like, and also Evan Mobley. I don't think Evan Mobley and Jared Allen is a good front court duo. I honestly don't think so. I I think Donovan Mitchell leaving this team will be the best thing that ever happens to them. Because then you have Evan Mobley who will get more shots and he will become this player you're anticipating him to be. You know, I think him and Scotty Barnes, skill wise, I mean, I would give it to Scotty skill wise. But I don't think Evan Mobley's too far away. And the fact that we have Scotty in All Star talks and we don't have Evan Mobley is because you 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 don't give him the ball enough, and he
yeah,
impacts the court on both ends. And Cleveland just need to handle that guard situation. You move Donovan for something. Not this year. I would probably say next year. You move Donovan for something, and you get back something that helps your team. Moving on to the Bucks. The Bucks are proving that when you change your identity, things will change. You still have Giannis. You got Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton. His injuries are catching up to him, and it's so evident. He can still give you close to 15 a night, but he's not giving you 20.
he's not that second star that he was before Dame when
Exactly.
they
He's
won the
not he's
championship.
not that second star. And the hopes was that this would be a big three, and it's not a big three. It's more of a 2.5. And
2.5. He gave him a half, Maurice. Damn.
it's a 2.5, and you compromise your defense. Drew Holiday is arguably the best backcourt defender in the league, and you moved him for Damian Lillard, who is a good offensive player, but your team is changed, and it's not a good change. Your coaching changes are very evident to the point that you guys are not performing to expectations. You moved a guy when you're the second best team in the East, not because of your record, but because you're not meeting expectations. Now, a bunch of behind the scenes stuff was because of that coaching change too, but you know, on paper, it's very evident you're not reaching expectations. Um, so the Bucks we have to see. Honestly, we just have to see if Lillard and Giannis, the duo, can just outpower other teams, and that's what it's gonna have to be. Because you're not gonna be able to stop other teams on the defensive end. You're gonna have to outpower them. You have to outscore them, and we'll see if that happens. And the Celtics, best team in the East, one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team in the league. They're definitely going to make it out the East. I don't see any team on this list that can beat them. I think the teams that have the best shot is the Knicks and the Bucks, but Boston, they're a team that changed their identity and it worked out for them. Kristaps Porzingis has been superb for them.
Oh
That
yeah.
was a great trade.
I thought that was gonna be a shit ass trade because of his injury history and everything.
I think Porzingis was just struggling to find himself after he got injured. He was the guy in New York, and then he got injured, and he didn't work alongside Luca. He wasn't used well in Washington. He just needed an opportunity to really show he's still that guy. He's not going to be the guy that's going to drop 50 or 40, but he'll give you whatever he got, and that's better than most big men in this league, and that's all that matters. And then, of
Yeah,
course, you got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. You have Derek White might be the best just put it together guy in the league, honestly. Like
yeah,
he's
he's
not
he's
a big
great
name, but he impacts the game so much.
on the defense and offense side of the ball. The little things, he does great.
Probably the most underrated player in the league.
Yeah,
You have,
without a doubt.
and then you have Drew Holiday. Like the Boston Celtics starting lineup is just amazing. One
Yeah.
through five. Like how are you beating that team?
You know how? The way the Lakers did.
We're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that. I think that was just a common oh, they don't have their best two. We're not gonna play as hard.
Damn, you're gonna give that one? Damn.
I'm gonna chalk it up to that. I
Uh,
think if that was a playoff game, if that was a game one in the finals, no LeBron, no AD, they would have got
if
smacked.
there was no LeBron and AD in the finals, I don't even know how the hell we're even there.
They would have got smacked by 30 if that was the case. But moving on to the West,
All right.
Spurs, the Spurs, Trailblazers, Grizzlies. We don't gotta talk about those guys.
Yeah, those are pretty bad. Now, for me, this is the West now. So I'm gonna go. Like I said, I think this. I'm gonna actually talk a little bit about the Spurs, the Trailblazers, and thing because we look at the Pistons, the Hornets, and who's the other team? Pistons, Hornets.
It was Pistons, Hornets, and Washington.
Washington. All right. So for those three teams, the Pistons, they're screwed. I don't know what the hell is wrong with them. Washington, they're also screwed. The Hornets, they have life. They just cannot get anything consistent. Their stars are always out. They're always injured. So that's why we didn't talk about those guys. I'm sorry if you guys are those fans, but you are doomed. Now, if you guys are the Trailblazers, the Spurs, and the Grizzlies, you have hope. Victor Wembanyama is great. He is. He's fantastic. I liked his game. I like the Spurs picked him up. If you got that type of coach, Greg Popovich, you're going to be good in the foreseeable future. Now, they just got to they're young. They got to get maybe a 1 or 2 star with Victor Wembanyama, or at least one more. Like, I could see maybe a Donovan Mitchell going there with Victor Wembanyama. That would be something.
I can see the DeJounte Murray coming back.
That also is another one. I like that type of way. Maybe even a Mikal Bridges going there or something like that. Or at least like a compliment to Victor Wembanyama, at least another player. And then you get like an Alex Caruso to run the point, something like that. So I think the Spurs are in good hands. They are 10-40. They suck. So they're not doing nothing this year, but they are in good hands. Trailblazers. Now this team is a little weird. Scoot Henderson has been playing pretty well of late, but in the beginning of the season he was atrocious. So if he gets his way he's going, he'll be good. They're a young team. They got Jeremy Grant. They got a couple older guys, but they got to get at least another star. One star.
I say look out for them next trade deadline to sell.
Next trade deadline, not this one. Next year.
Right now. Yeah, next year. I'm calling it right now. Look out for them to sell. If they keep Brogdon, which they probably will, which is stupid, but hey, if they keep Brogdon, sell. Jeremy Grant, they did not want to sign him. They thought Dame was staying. They want to get rid of that contract. It's too expensive to get rid of now. Maybe not next year with him, but look out for them to sell him too. Look out for them to sell.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that. Sell next year. Because this year, what do you got to sell? There's really nothing to sell. What are you going to sell? Scoot Henderson? You just pick that pick. And I think that was a big, big, big monster thing. You already had Anthony Simons. You had Damian Lillard. What the hell was the point in getting Scoot Henderson? I would have rather you get Brandon Miller. I thought he was going. Imagine Brandon Miller, Dame, and what's it called? And Brandon Miller's not a small guy. He's 6'7", shoot the three, and he can do a lot with the basketball. He's erupting as one of the best stars on the Hornets. When LaMelo was out, when Miles Bridges was out, dude, he can take on a squad. Like he's really good. I like him in his game. But that's the Hornets. Now with the Grizzlies, no John Morant. I mean, you saw when he came back, they went on like a 7-0 run. They were 7-0 when he came back. So I believe they'll be fine. He just got to stay his ass out of trouble. Stop trying to be a gangster and just play freaking basketball. Like, dude, it's simple, very simple. I love his game. I think him is going, if he stays healthy, he's going to be the next big thing in the NBA. He is already one of them. I just think he just needs to stay healthy. He stays healthy, he'll be fine. He stays healthy, stays out of trouble, he'll be good. So I think the Trailblazers, Grizzlies, and Spurs, they're in good hands. Trailblazers are the worst out of all of them in the West, but I think they're not even close to as bad as the Hornets are. I think the Hornets are the better team. They have the better option. They have a good team. They're just young. But the Wizards and the Pistons, no one compares to any of them. Even the Spurs, not even close. But now moving on to the Warriors. Warriors, man, it might be time to bake up the big three. I mean, you're not getting younger. I would not get rid of Steph Curry, and I would not get rid of Draymond Green. I think Draymond and Steph, that cohesive unit right there, is ridiculous. He just dropped 60 points this Saturday that was yesterday. That was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, he just dropped 60 points playing against Atlanta, and they still lost. He needs help on offense. Defensively, they need help as well. Andrew Wiggins is not panning out this year. I think you get rid of him. I think you get rid of Klay Thompson, and I think you keep everybody else, and then you try to get some other guys in there. Everyone been talking about LeBron going to the Warriors. The only team that he could ever go to that would make sense for his family is either Golden State or Sacramento. He's not going to the Kings, so he might go to Golden State maybe. That's a maybe. That's like a really, really big maybe. But that's the only team that makes sense if he wants to stay close to his son and stay close to his family and do business after the game. So if that's the case, I would say that maybe the Warriors would push for him. But if you have Draymond, Steph, and LeBron with Bronny and then Kuminga and then all these guys, that's a team right there. That's a squad that can win 3 straight years, I believe. So that's not a bad squad. So the Warriors are in good hands. They just need to make a move. They're not going anywhere this year. I mean, I believe they'll make it into the playoffs as the 10th seed. I think they'll push it there. But that's it. They're a first round, maybe second round exit at most. But I would be pushing first round because you're definitely going to play the top teams. So we'll see about that. The Jazz, they're good. I like the Jazz. I think they're young. I think they got a good team with Colin Sexton. I like him. There. I like Markkanen, Kessler. I think Rudy Gay is still on the team, I believe.
I think so.
You don't think so?
I think so.
I think yeah. Because I thought he was out of the league, but he's still there. You got a couple good guys there. I like their team. I just think they're young. I think they're a little young, and that's really what's plaguing them. In some games, they were up some games, and then they just lose some games. I mean, if you look at it, they're 16-7 at home. They're 9-19 away. That just shows you inexperience. When you're away from home, you don't have the crowd backing you up, so that's like inexperience type look. My Lakers. You could jump in whenever you have a take. So if you have a take, just jump in. The Lakers, my Lakers, man, 26-25. I believe they're killing the fucking they're killing the Hornets right now. Yeah, they're up 98-77. They're playing well on the road. 3 straight road games is pretty good. D'Lo's got 25. LeBron's got 19. Davis has got 16 and a triple-double. Holy Jesus. He's got 16 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists. When the hell did you see Anthony Davis with 10 assists?
He's been having a lot of assists lately. But he's good
Wow.
at passing out the post now.
Wow, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. He can get that to his game consistently, man. We'll be dangerous with him passing the ball because he's so big. Like he can see things that a lot of people can't. It's like LeBron, but he's even taller than LeBron. So I think the Lakers, man, they just got to stay consistent. They can stay on a consistent run. We can play with anybody. We've seen it. We could play with anybody. We could play with the Clippers. We could play the T-Wolves. We could play with OKC. We could play with Denver. We can play with the Suns. We can play with the Kings. We can play with the Mavericks. We can play with any team, East, West. Does not matter. It's about consistency. It's about health. And it's about, are we going to make a move? We need to make one move. We're one move away, Maurice, for us to solidify this team as a contending team. I just think it takes one move. And I think that one move might need to be a maybe not a big move, but a
Mhm.
move that makes a statement, like bring an Alex Caruso back, or that gives you offense and defense the way he was. Maybe bring a big in to help out Anthony Davis, the load off, like we had last year, where we had Thomas Bryant with Anthony Davis. Then we brought in Mo Bamba, but Mo Bamba really didn't play. I would have loved to see Mo Bamba, Anthony Davis take on Jokic in the
Oh
conference
no,
finals. I, I think
nope.
height wise, it gave us a little bit more of a thing, and you wouldn't have to. You can go big. You can go Mo Bamba and Anthony Davis 4 and 5, LeBron at the 3, Austin Reeves at the 2, and then you got D'Lo at the 1. I like that squad right there, especially in a big game against Jokic, where Rhea Hachimura is not the first line of defense. Anthony Davis's second line is Mo Bamba with his shot blocking ability, as well as Anthony Davis. I just think that would have played a little bit better. I also would have liked us last year to play a little bit more of Tristan Thompson. I didn't see him until the fucking last game of the season, and he actually played pretty well against Jokic. Meanwhile, Jokic did make his plays, but defensively, when he got into the post, he played a little bit better than Anthony Davis was playing. So I kind of like that big on big, two bigs to back him up, and he's got to go through two big monsters. So I would say maybe try to go for a big that can really help out Anthony Davis. We have Jackson Hayes, but Jackson Hayes to me is not a big. He's more of a stretch 4, stretch 5. I like him at the power forward position, or even when LeBron gets out, maybe put him at the 3. You put 3, and then you run maybe a Vanderbilt and then an AD. That gives you size, length, quickness, and defense. That's another lineup you can change, but I don't like changing the fucking lineups. We've been doing that all year. It hasn't done well for us. When we stay consistent with lineups for 3 games, we win games. So that's a little bit on the Lakers. I just think we need to make either a move for like a somewhat of a smaller guy as a point guard or shooting guard. But remember, Gabe Vincent's not healthy. He's coming back in a couple weeks, so we'll see how he goes. But yeah, we need something. We need just that little something to just get us over the hump of being a little consistent. I like the Alex Caruso move, but we'll see. Mavericks, I think they're good, Chandler. They just got to stay healthy. Kyrie Irving is out of the lineup here and there. His first game was back today. Luka Doncic is playing out of his mind, but even with that, they're still losing games. So they need to get some consistency with it. I don't think they need to make a big move. I just think that they just need to play consistent basketball and stop having games where half the team's injured, the big star's injured, one star just doesn't want to play, or you know what I mean? Like, I just think the Mavericks are there. They just need to play more consistent. The Pelicans, I think they're there. I think they could beat any team. They could play with anybody. I like their game. Brandon Ingram is playing pretty well. He's averaging a little lower than usual, but Zion's playing amazing ever since Stephen A.
Yeah,
And
he's up his performance.
Shannon Sharp told him he's fat. Basically, there's no sugarcoating it. He had a belly, and ever since this guy has been phenomenal. He's averaging 20 something a game, and he just dropped 35 on San Antonio with the and one layup. So he's playing really good basketball. I think they could beat anybody, play with anybody once they get fully healthy. I believe CJ McCollum, I haven't heard a lot from him. I believe he's in and out of the lineup.
Yeah,
So Brandon Ingram, Zion, and Valanciunas. Don't forget him. He's a great center. He's a very underrated center. I think he's one of the best in the league. If you talk about overall defense, rebounding, blocking, shooting, scoring, assisting. I think overall he's one of the best. He just gets undermined because he's not as dominant as the other guys like a Joel, an Anthony Davis, a Jokic, and all those other guys. The Suns, I have no hope for the Suns. They're at the 6th seed. I do understand they have Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. We've seen them maybe 5 times this year.
No, they've played more times together than
No, my bad. They've played, but in the beginning, it seemed like they were always
oh yeah.
injured. Now it's been more consistent. I just don't think that they're gonna last that long. I think someone's gonna get injured, similar to the James Harden, Chris Paul type of thing in Houston a couple years back. When Chris Paul went down, that was it. Like Houston didn't know how to play basketball, and they just got demolished the last 2 games versus the Warriors when they were up 3-2. So I think that the Suns, Kevin Durant is playing great. Bradley Beal is still getting into the swing of things off the injury. Devin Booker's playing well. I don't think Devin Booker deserved to be an All-Star. I'm sorry. I don't think he did. I would rather see De'Aaron Fox or Domantas Sabonis there, not Devin Booker. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. Bradley Beal, he's good, but he's not showing me anything from Washington. Granted, he's been injured, but yeah, I don't believe in the Suns that much. My Lakers can beat them without LeBron. We've done it. We've seen it. LeBron's had an off game, and we still were able to beat them without Anthony Davis. We got Anthony Davis in that game. We win that game. No one can stop them on that team. Fuck Yusuf Nurkic. He can't stop shit. He can't even stop a nosebleed. So I don't think he's stopping nobody. Then you move to the Kings. Sacramento, I like a lot. They're a young team. Now you got Domantas Sabonis playing phenomenal. De'Aaron Fox. You got Monk. You got Mitchell. You got a lot of these guys. Not Mitchell. Mitchell, right? The shooter. The
Yeah.
lengthy shooter.
I
Yeah,
guess
Mitchell.
Javion Mitchell
Javon Mitchell. He's good too. He had like 13 threes in a game this year, so he's playing really well. I like their squad. I like their coach. I think they're a young team, but I think they have experience from last year, which is going to give them big, big, big dividends this year. I think Sacramento can make a run. I think they can make it maybe to the West semifinals. I don't think they're there yet to get to the conference finals and the finals. I don't think they're there yet, but semifinals, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Sacramento versus one of the top teams in the semifinals. The Nuggets, defending champs, really can't say much. Jokic is playing another out of his mind game. They're sometimes a little inconsistent when they're not fully healthy, but when they're fully healthy, they're as dominant as any team in the NBA. So that's pretty much it. Sweet and simple. They could be back in the finals yet again this year, or at least the West or conference finals at most. They're not getting early round exits. You can't stop Jokic. You're not winning the game. So I believe the only teams that could do that are my Lakers with Anthony Davis when fully healthy and everyone is good. I would also say the Pelicans are another team. The Clippers, Timberwolves, and OKC are those teams. The Suns, I just think they're never healthy, and they're not going to be so consistent. They're not going to share the rock as good as the Clippers are doing. Now gets to the Clippers. I think the Clippers are one of the best teams. I would have to say that the Clippers are one of the best teams in the NBA.
I have the Clippers come out the West.
If I wasn't a Lakers fan and I was in the East like you, I would say the same thing. But nah, fuck the Clippers, bro. But no, the Clippers, dude, they're really good. I think that with the pairing of Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and all these guys, I think they're phenomenal, and I like their game a lot. So I'm definitely gonna grow with the Clippers big time. I like the Clippers a lot. I like James Harden, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi. They're fully healthy. They're not taking load management bullshit this year. They're actually playing games. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. Timberwolves, one of the best teams in the league. Anthony Edwards, consistent. He's a dominant player. He's going to be one of the best in the league for this foreseeable future. There's really nothing really to say about them. I just think that they need to be more mature. They're a little immature, especially when Cat went for 62. They just started chucking up threes and throwing the rock to him, just having him chuck up threes. They need to be a little bit more mature. And that's where I think maybe next year will be their year to make a run. I think this year they'll probably end off in the Western Conference Finals or the semifinals.
Yeah.
because they're just a little immature and not ready. I think that's the thing. And the Thunder, dude, I think they're ready. I like the Thunder, bro. I think they could play with any team, West or East. They got Chet, they got Shea, they got Lou Dort, they got Giddy. They got a bunch of dudes that are dogs that want to win. I like their game a lot. I like their length, I like their defense, and I like their offense. So I think they're really good, and I really think that they got a shot to do a lot of good things this year, and make a run. So that's pretty much it on my end. We're getting a little late here. It's already been 55 minutes. Couldn't believe it's been 55 minutes. But basically, we kind of hit the trade deadline during the whole thing. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's really not much to really talk about because
What do you
that
think? What do you think is going to be the biggest move?
I think the biggest move is probably going to come from the Bucks, man. Like you said, you hit on a good point. We got about 5 minutes left on the show, but I hit on a good point. Middleton, man, I think he's going to have to go, or he's going to have to reduce his role. Something's going to have to change because I think defensively he's not as good as he used to be. You even said bringing on Damian Lillard's a great offensive thing, but he don't play defense that much. So I would probably say they got to make a move. I would also say a big thing, the Lakers got to definitely make a move. If they want to do it. The Warriors, they want to be in it. They got to make a move as well. And I think they got to go big. I think they got to get rid of Wiggins and Clay, and then they got to get somebody big that wants to be traded. I would even think Mikal Bridges going onto that team will be great. His defense, his offensive game, he's a pass-first type of guy. He don't need to drop 30. He don't need the ball. Steph Curry and Draymond can still do his thing, but when you need a defensive stop like he did in Villanova, you're going to get it. Or when Phoenix went on the run to get to the finals against Milwaukee, they leaned on him to make those stops. And he did. They just offensively, they were very little inconsistent in some of those games. That's why they lost to Milwaukee that year. But what is your quick take? What are your two teams that you think that need to make a big deal? Oh, I would even put a third team in. I think the 76ers need to make a move.
I think the Lakers is a big team, mainly because you want to keep LeBron. The Hawks moving to DeJounte Murray, I would put them up there, mainly because that's just an asset you got to move. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Third, I wouldn't say Philly because I think Philly's big move that they missed on was Pascal Siakam. I don't see any other move.
To take off Tobias Harris, then you get Pascal. That would have been fantastic.
I don't
and
see
Pascal and
any
Joel like each other, man. They're like boys.
Yeah.
So that would have been great. Pairing with Maxey, that would have been great. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Then really, there's really nothing out there.
That would have put them back in that top 3 in the East conversation for sure.
And now with Zach LaVine getting hurt, there's really not a lot out there that people are making such a big deal of. DeJounte Murray, I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. I mean, the Warriors may be thinking about it, but
I say keep an eye out for Miles Bridges going to the Suns.
Miles Bridges. That might be.
Keep an eye
After
out
he just got dunked on, I think he might want to get the hell out of there.
So but I say keep an eye, because if he goes to the Suns, it's not a big needle mover, but that does add something to a team that is kind of struggling right now. And
defensively.
If they get that right, the Suns are a scary team.
Yes, they are. I agree with that.
Put it all together, they're a scary team.
So guys, on the Fire Sports Pod, I got Philly, I got the Warriors, and I got the Lakers. And I said the Bucks, so I said 4 teams. You have the Suns,
Lakers, and the Hawks.
Suns, Lakers, and Hawks. So he's got 3. I got 4. I'm probably going to take the 76ers out there since we agree with the take. So I got Lakers, Warriors, and Bucks. He's got Hawks, Lakers, and Suns. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for my YouTube show here on the Fire Sports Pod. Maurice, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. We had a good talk about NBA, man. Well, what's better to talk about?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. But guys, you're definitely going to be seeing Maurice a lot on the show and also in the sports world coming. He's a senior. He's about to graduate. So good luck with that, Maurice. We'll be talking after the show. But again, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm your host, Zach Jackson, here on the Forest Sports Pod. This is my guest host, Maurice Jenkins. And we out. That's it, guys. Peace out. Have a great rest of your night. And I'll catch you guys on the audio show on the Forest Sports Pod. We're going to be doing some college basketball talk. So peace out, guys.